Hey, Vamp. Welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. I'm just taking a moment to connect into spirit. This is gonna be a different night. It's altogether going to be a different live. I feel that already. Spirit's giving me a message that our world, as in Gaia, she's rather frustrated. And mainly, she's frustrated the most because we seem to repeat history over and over and over and over again. And the word that she's giving me to explain it is redundancy. We've already been through 4 world concessions. We're moving into the 5th. And the fact that the world has gone through 4 other worldly concessions, Spirit's saying that it always seems to end the same way. And it's mainly due to the fact of ego, chaos, and an imbalance between the light and dark. And the biggest redundancy is the synthetic control. It's the synthetic control of trying to gain power and control over over its inhabitants. A lot of people think that it all happens for a reason. But it's almost as if there's a particular portion of the population that doesn't want to learn the lesson. One of the biggest lessons that we need to learn is compassion and authenticity. But every time the world comes to the point of procession into enlightenment, there always seems to be a synthetic creation of what people think that it should be. And it's all based on deception. It all comes down to deception and lies just to gain control. Thinking that they got it all figured out. And unfortunately, we are at that precipice going into the fifth world. And this is where it becomes it's a spiritual thing. Spirit's saying we're supposed to get it right this time. And it's plain to see we haven't learned our lesson as humanity. I mean, all the history books we have across the world, all the monuments of remembrance of the worlds before us, and it all comes back to annihilation. It all comes back to Mother Earth having to balance it all out. Because the guardians of the world can't seem to get along. Everybody thinks they got the better plan. Everybody thinks they got everything figured out. And there's a whole bunch of kicking and screaming and fighting and to the point where the divine has to kick in and step in. And clearly, just over the last 24 hours, things have escalated to a questionable degree as to whether or not we're even going to have an Earth to live on. When are we going to get it through our head as a humanity that it can't keep going on like this? The supposed people in power clearly haven't read a history book, because it always seems to repeat itself over and over and over again. Then we have a bunch of imbeciles that thinking that they're going to take over the world and make it right. And all they're doing is bringing us into a control of a totalitarianism. Acting like a bunch of fucking tyrants. And they think that's going to solve something. Thinking that that's the best course of action for the world. To put it into shambles. To steer us into chaos, yet again. How many annihilations and resets do we need to go through before we get it right? Spirit is asking the governments of the world to take a step back and sit the fuck down and think about shit before they make any final decisions. Because the only way that we're going to get through this is with compassion, communication, and righteousness. Humility. There's certain people across this earth that need to be brought to judgment for crimes against humanity. That should be the most focus right now. To bring balance back to our nations across the world. Because that in itself will be the only way we see peace. But yet I wonder, Spirit says it's going to happen. Humanity will be brought to justice. There is still hope. But again, it takes us to go within and recognize it for what it is. There was never supposed to be a superpower on Earth. There was never supposed to be a conglomerate, one world government. That's not going to bring peace. All it's going to do is bring civil unrest. So we all need to sit down and really think before we do any more damage. Because this whole idea of annihilating the human race is not an option. Certain people do need to be held accountable, without a doubt. And that should be the utmost priority. We've all been born and brought into this time and space to be a witness to the awakening. And for those that are scattered, for those that are uncertain, you're here to be a witness to the change, to the observation of that awakening. It's what we came here for. It's part of the great remembering. And out of all the worlds that we've had before us, we are in the world right now where we actually have the technology and the ability to make it right, to make it better for everyone. But the way they're going about it is only going to create an annihilation of what's important, of what's sacred. And it's going to be our own individual choices as to whether or not that pans out or not. So where you feel that you've given up, where you feel that there's no hope, you really need to take a step back and understand that there is hope. But it's going to take absolutely every single one of us to make that happen. Every nation should be sharing their ideals. Every nation should be sharing their education and the things that we've learned over the millennia. We should be able to share and seek out this sacred knowledge. And we should be able to become our best, most authentic versions of ourselves. In the beginning, there were earthquakes that reset the earth. There was a great hurricane in the second one. There was a great fire in the third. And there was a great flood in the fourth. And each procession between the worlds, it's expanded because of our consciousness expanding. So each world that we've went through, where we've reset and started again, reset and started again, and reset and started again, the different worlds has a longer length of time between them. But if we fail to learn from our history, and if we choose to burn our libraries and forget everything that we've experienced, how are we supposed to evolve? How are we supposed to evolve as a human race? How are we supposed to be humanitarians? How are we supposed to become our most authentic version of ourselves if we're constantly deceived and lied to about the truest of potential of absolutely every living soul on the planet? How are we supposed to know peace? These are the questions you should ask yourself. Because within these questions are the solutions to moving into the fifth world. That we are literally at that doorstep. And it is what we do today and tomorrow that will shape our future into what it's supposed to be. And where you want to just sit by and let the world do its thing, you're complacent. Where you feel helpless, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, you don't know how to get there, you don't know even where to start. You can start by raising your voice. You can start by sharing your opinion. But it's something that takes a lot of insight and going within. In the first world, it was all about the stability of the continents to give us grounds to build on. The second world was about spreading the seeds to create a flourishing ecosystem. The third was to transmute and transform the world into a living entity of itself. And the fourth world was to know the emotions of sadness and joy. The fifth world is bringing all the elements together to create a world of peace, of love, of unity, respect, and authenticity. And the fact of our technologies that we currently have, we have no excuses. currently being brought to a precipice of a threshold to walk in a new direction of peace and unity. But the way that they're choosing to create it is not the direction that we need to be going. It's not about becoming a global citizen. Because we all have different religions, different spiritualities, different thought processes, and different traditions, which makes the world special, all in itself. It's what makes humanity special. And if we end up erasing all of that, then we have nothing to look back on, to refer to. All the last 4 worlds should not be in vain. Just to think, all the lost knowledge that was taken and burned from the Library of Alexandria. Very, very devastating. There were scrolls older than Christ. That no longer exist. It's a blasphemy. And the way that it's happening, it seems like it's going to happen all over again. Unless we make a choice to rise up as nations and compromise and open communication. That in itself will save us from annihilation. The fact that we are at the brink of another war baffles me. The fact that as nations we still can't get along after all this time. We truly have nothing holding us back but ourselves and our ability to articulate an understanding. Part of the whole idea of the chakra meditation, starting from your feet and working to your head, is to the ability to access your own Akashic records, to bring about an understanding to your purpose and the reason why you are here. There's a lot of people out there saying that other people have access to your Akashic records and they're looking into it and they're trying to steal destinies. It's not even a thing that's possible. Because within each person, we have our own. But the ability to look within and take the time out to clear out the chakra centers in order to access that is the challenge. And it's mainly due to the deception. That we can't. %80 of the world is in fight or flight right now because of it. So how are we supposed to know peace if there's so much chaos? With karmics and unhealed energy? If each and every one of us took the time to heal and to alchemize our pain and suffering from hereditary trauma, we would know peace. To reflect on the past and to finally learn from it, and finally come to an understanding, it's paramount to our understanding and our survival. For the human race and the ecosystem, represented by the animals and the mammals and the birds and amphibians. But us being human, we are the keepers and the guardians of Mother Earth. Absolutely every single one of us. And yet, due to the deception and the control and the idealization of the idols, we've lost the perspective of why we're even here. And it's almost as if we choose to forget rather than remember. And to the like button, if you were actually listening to my words, you wouldn't have even said what you said. You're late to the party. The dragon's spirit lives. So to come in here and talk and smack about dragons, just because of my dragon statue, you're oblivious to what's actually going on. If you actually knew about dragons, you wouldn't be asking that question. Dragons are as old as the third world. They go back way before Egypt. And they were misunderstood. Dragons were brought in to bring balance. Welcome in, Ink. Welcome in, Child of God. Welcome in, Red. Welcome in, Emma. Welcome in, John. Angel. That's the thing. Historians only know a certain perspective. They only see things in a particular way. In a way that only makes sense to them. Which is still deceptive. What I'm saying is, if we were to heal and we were to bring about the awareness of our own Akashic records, we would have access to this information. We wouldn't have to rely on history books, because the knowledge is all there. We have access to that knowledge. But a lot of the human race is too ignorant to heal, to even access that information. It's one of the main reasons why I'm here. To bring about that change and to bring about that awareness. Because I've accessed my own Akashic records. Welcome in, Sheila. Welcome in, Bradley. I have two timelines for the future here tonight. And it's going to be up to us to make that decision as to what timeline we pick and what timeline we choose to go with. Check out the description box, Sharma. That should let you know. The question is, collective, do you want the dark path or the light path? Do you want to go down the pathway of chaos or peace? Because ultimately, the earth is splitting into two within consciousness. It's going to stay whole as a planet. But within our awareness, within our intellectual aspect of consciousness, it will split into two very different realities. Where we feel that we're helpless, where we feel that we do not have a say, where we feel that we do not have control over our existence and our experience. That's a lie in itself. It's an illusion. It's very deceptive to think that way. Because ultimately we have more power within oneself than what we actually realize. And once we all recognize that as an individual, and we can move into humility, we can move into compromise, we can move into authenticity, that's the game changer. But it's going to take absolutely every single one of us to rise. Angel, that's what they want you to think. It's one thing to have night and day. It's one thing to have happiness and sadness. But chaos was not to be included in that sadness. The manifestation of darkness was only brought in because of sadness. For a long time, yes, there was duality. But because of the darkness, it brought chaos. It brought a sort of evil because of our consciousness. It's the difference between to see or not to see, to speak or not to speak, to live or not to live. Where light is of the living, the darkness is of the dead. Without one, you cannot have the other. But it wasn't supposed to bring chaos. It wasn't supposed to bring war. But unfortunately, every concession of the earth that we've had so far, it's brought us to the point where the darkness took over. Our world is not supposed to be in utter chaos. Our world is not to know an Armageddon. Our world is not to know to the fullest extent of that darkness. It's to remind us why we choose the light. The darkness was never meant to take over. It gives us reason and purpose to believe in the light. The true light, not the false light. Because the false light is of the darkness. And this is why we have fire, to bring light to that darkness. So that way there is a balance. In the first two worlds, we knew devastation, we knew sadness. Because there was no fire to keep us warm during the night or the winter months. And this is where sadness comes from. And this is why the element of fire is so special within its transformation. Just as it can warm you and keep you comfortable during the night and keep you safe by its light, it can also burn you. So again, it comes back to choice. It's the renewal of spirit, recognizing the light that's within you, that's always been within you. Knowing that there's a bigger purpose for you here. And the ability to allow hopelessness to enter your heart is to allow the darkness to overtake you. World after world after world after world, we fail to recognize that the divine and that light of the divine, that source, central sun, has always been within us. It is that spark of intuition and inspiration that keeps us moving forward, that keeps us evolving, known as the great idea, also known as the great awakening. And it's all due to that spark, the reignition of that light. Do you notice any time that you're in a depression or in sadness, the one thing that gets you out is inspiration? It's a great idea. It's something to wake up for. This brings me back to the, I think it was like 8 or 9 months ago, quite possibly. I lit 2 candles, a white one and a black one. A black one to banish negative energy, and a white one to represent the life force. To bring balance back because of the darkness. The white candle was only a half of a candle. The black candle I lit was a full taper. And by the end of the candle, the white was still lit, and the black had burned away to nothing, and it went out. And I still had an inch, probably, of the white candle left, still burning. It reminded me that the light always wins, in the end. Because it is the light. It is the consciousness. It is the inspiration. It is that spark of life that prevails within absolutely every single one of us, if only we would recognize it. This is what makes absolutely every single one of us special. And this is why I'm so adamant at trying to help the world heal. Because together, as humanity, we can make a difference. We can ultimately change the course of our destiny by remembering the light that's within us and allow it to spark a new inspiration, a new idea. One that is inspired by the universal and source sovereignty of every single living thing on the planet. And this goes back to life itself. This goes back to the divine. This goes back to the electromagnetic frequency of our hearts to keep it beating. Without it, there is no existence. It's in every animal. It's in every tree. In every living thing that's on the planet and within the universe. But if we make the choice to allow the darkness to prevail, then the world will go through a reset. It will go through annihilation. It will go through an Armageddon. But the only way to stop that is if we all rise and make a choice. There's many people across the world that have protested this in the last 2 months, 3 months, in the last couple years. The divine sovereignty that we have as an individual to live in peace on the earth. And it's one thing that absolutely every single one of us have in common. And we've come to a time and place in the world where some of us feel powerless, and lost hope because we forgot. We forgot our mission. We forgot the reason due to the programming. But it is in the great remembering that brings upon the awakening, to bring about the change that we want to see in the world. But it's ultimately up to us and what we decide. For the dark, empty vessels that choose not to heal, that choose to wreak havoc upon the earth, we have a chance to bring them to annihilation. Because of the chaos they ensue upon the earth. Does this come back to another witch hunt? Not necessarily. But the ones of the light can lead by example. And if enough of us step up and remember our mission and remember who we are, as chosen ones, and we ultimately choose to stand in our sovereignty and authenticity, there is still a chance that we may know peace. Chosen ones are chosen because they chose to live a different life. They chose to step up. They chose to inspire. And this is why, as the chosen one, you are divinely guided, guarded, and protected. By the divine itself. For the most part, we need to come away from the whole idea of Christianity and recognize that it is only a one small perspective compared to what the divine actually is. It's very much a controlled, a throttled version of what the divine is capable of. The divine requires you to look within, where religion requires you to look outside of yourself for guidance and knowledge. And this is why it's been hidden in plain sight. This is why we've been deceived. We are bombarded by sadness and chaos to forget our true potential. And we don't even realize it. So the ones that feel helpless, you have more power just as yourself than what you ever thought of. But together, as a collective, we all have the ability and the power to shape our reality, the way we see. But it takes going within to find that information out. It's a part of the Akashic records. People wonder where I get all my wisdom from. People wonder where all this comes from. Well, now you know. I don't have to look in a book to find the answer. I don't have to go to church to find the answer. Because the answer has always been within you. It's not outside of you. It's not in another person. It's within yourself. It's within the divine light and your higher version of yourself that connects to spirit is where you find it. And in order to do that, you need to clear out all the trauma and the pain and the sadness in order to access it. The chakras are ultimately a gateway to the heavens within. And ironically, the gospel of Jesus spoke of source energy and the divine. And this is all part of the Great Awakening to source consciousness, not Christ consciousness, source consciousness. But because the darkness chose to prevail, they idolized his story. It idolized his message to gain control of humanity. And any other religion prior to that brings us ultimately, when you read between the lines, it brings us back to source consciousness, the divinity within each other, the divinity within ourselves. So it's ultimately up to us as to what we choose, as to where we go, and as to what we do that will determine our existence as to whether or not we prevail or not. And this is Akashic sacred knowledge. You're not going to get this on any other channel here on YouTube. I guarantee you that. The ones that are sleeping, John, are complacent to the darkness because they forgot their mission. And Jetta, if you'd like a personal reading, you can order one through the Hipsy link. And check out the description box too as well while you're there. So the ultimate choice is yours, collective. I'm not here to twist your arm. The time is of the essence. The world is at the brink of war. And if we all stand up together and raise our frequency, the darkness will have no other choice but to assimilate or be eradicated. Because even in a dark room, where the darkness prevails, you light a candle and the darkness flees. That is how powerful you are. But that's only if you remember That's only if you stand in your power. This is why self-love, self-respect, self-forgiveness is so important. Because it helps you to alchemize and bring you back to your authenticity. It helps you remember your mission as to why you came here to learn in the first place. Part of the reason why we have all these senses and the ability to feel and acknowledge and know wisdom. We have ears to hear. We have a mouth to speak. We have eyes to see. We have a heart to feel. And we have a mind to know. We have absolutely everything that we need to change our reality. Our outer reality assimilates to our inner world. What we choose to be on the inside has no other choice but to balance the outside. As within, so without. As above within the mind, so below within the heart. If we do not strive to know heaven, then we will know hell. If we do not strive to know heaven, the darkness ultimately wins out of complacency. Where we feel powerless, we have the ultimate choice. But it's ultimately up to us to make the difference. As individuals and as nations. And there's enough people on the earth right now where we have absolutely no excuse to leave it in the state that we're leaving it. There's no excuse why there should be homeless. There's no excuse why there should be famine. There's no excuse why there should be hunger. There's no excuse why there should be war. Specifically going at this for the 5th time. Moving and transitioning into the 5th world, our complacency and our helplessness, due to the deception, due to the lies and synthetics of so-called control, is the darkness trying to prevail over the light. And just as other nations have rose up and gained control, they're leading by example. Now, I'm not asking everyone to go take over their governments, but I'm asking the governments to stand in authenticity rather than chaos. To stand in universal sovereignty. This is our chance to make a better choice. This is our chance to put the guns down. This is our chance to put the bombs away and dismantle them for good. The bombs, the war, the chaos is not the answer. There has never been order out of chaos. The only thing that you get out of chaos is control. And it's a defamation of the divine light. It's up to us to make the difference. We can't expect the governments to make all the moves, all the decisions. As much as they would like to keep order and to keep things in check, they're not doing a very good job. And quite frankly, all that's done is brought us to the brink of annihilation. And this is a channeled message from Spirit. This is not me talking. And one of the reasons why there's been such a discredit to the trans movement is because they are theoretically and idealistically in balance of the masculine and feminine. However, mad science has taken over and has created a mutilation of their spirit and their body, making them think that they need to change their body in order to be who they are. If we all recognize that we actually have masculine and feminine abilities within our own consciousness, we all have the ability to be compassionate and understanding. And those two traits are feminine. We also have the ability to get hands-on and to create and to protect. We all have the ability to plant a seed and tend to it to grow. And that's also a masculine trait. And just like I said on the live last night, just as a woman can go to war and be part of the military to protect our nations, a man can go in the kitchen and cook and be nurturing and caring and loving and kind. but to recognize that we all have both will bring the earth to balance. We all have the ability to change the world, collective. We all have the ability to make a difference, as helpless as we feel sometimes. Part of the reason why I built this channel the last 2 years on the subjects that I built it on. Because if we all took the courage to heal and to rise into our highest timeline, we would know peace. To step into our authenticity, remember our mission, remember why we're here, and take the time to balance out the chakras to access our Akashic records, we would recognize our own mission. Most of our missions is to be a witness of the awakening. Most of our missions is to alchemize the negative, to eradicate the darkness. But that requires healing on an individual basis and a collective basis to make it happen. And it's not about being the most powerful nation. It's about recognizing our differences and bringing some understanding and communication. Focusing on our gifts, our talents, our abilities, and standing in our authenticity. And by doing so, we will know true balance. We will know what peace looks like. We will know what peace feels like. And none of it requires us to accept and surrender to the darkness and to submit to the tyranny. There's absolutely nothing there that requires us to submit to that. Because we've all been born of light. And if we were actually back in alignment, in the sacredness that we are, we wouldn't be making karmic babies. We wouldn't be creating darkness. We would actually be creating out of love. Love ultimately is the most powerful magic known to existence. In the wrong hands, it could very well be deadly. In multiple different perspectives. If we create life out of darkness, it brings more darkness. Because it creates an imbalance within the ancestral line. But the sooner we move into sacred alignment, in our authenticity, it's a game changer. It all comes back to healing. Everything. The peace of nations, the peace of self, our well-being, the ability to love, the ability to trust. It all comes back to healing. Each on an individual basis and as nations across the earth. But if we're too distracted by the programming of the current matrix, what do you expect to happen? If we cannot compromise, communicate, and stand in our authenticity, we will know chaos. And this is why, for the last 2 years, I've been constantly preaching about healing the pain within you, so that way you can recognize that yourself. And oddly enough, you don't need a book for that. You don't need a psychologist for that. And I know I'm saying something right because I've only got 8 people in the room right now. Yet, oddly enough, I have 25 likes. Is it 25? It looks like 25, maybe 28. I can't see that far. So I'm going to get into a collective reading after this smoke. We're going to hear from the light activations and the archetypes, the unknown archetypes. So we're going to hear from 2 different oracles this evening, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a triple threat collective tarot. I'll tell you, collective, I've been so tired of the karmic energy trying to prevail that I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to take the reins and I'm going to do something different tonight. Last night's reading was pretty intense. Got me shadow banned yet again. All for speaking truth. All for speaking facts. But everything that I've said already, I have a feeling is going to be confirmed in the cards tonight. So that's why I figure I'd have my little chat first, and then I'd get into the cards after. If you would like a personal reading, they are available. But I do believe if you would like to continue watching me, you might want to become a member. Because ultimately, I do not want to defy spirit. And spirit has told me that this will probably be one of my last lives, publicly. Unless there's a predominant message that needs to come out. I will be continuing to do my collectives on member side. So there's multiple different options for member side, as you may know, but for the new people, level 1 through 4, it gives you the ability to have a reading. The Flight Club membership gets you in the workshops. And the chat allows you to be part of the chat. In the past, I have created a situation where even the ones in chat side get messages. However, that's going to be changing. You will be required at least to get Flight Club membership in order to get messages. Jay, check out the description box. And I gave you the floor last night for 15 minutes and you didn't bother asking the question, so no. You want to get a personal reading? You can go ahead and get a personal reading. But you have to go into the link section to order one. I'm not playing this game. And it's the point as to the reason why I created the rules in the description box for people like you. Coming in thinking that you're going to take over my chat and take over my reading. No, not happening. And totally get me all distracted from what my message and my collective message is. I'm done getting trolled. I'm done with the karmic bullshit. And I'm trying to do something good here. And I'm done assimilating to the bullshit in the chaos. So you have a question, get a personal reading. Order a coaching session. It's all available at the Hipsy link. I will still be doing collectives, but it'll be very far and few between. Because my members are losing out because I'm focusing on the collective readings and I really don't have enough energy to do both. So being gang stalked and evil-eyed and all this other bullshit, I'm done with the drama. I'm saving my energy for my members and the people that are actually willing to give equal reciprocation. I give all of myself to you and I have nothing left for myself. And I feel even with YouTube, I'm being taken advantage of. I'm not on here spewing a bunch of bullshit. I'm on here trying to enlighten humanity, and it doesn't seem to matter what I do, what I say. how I say it. I'm done playing stupid games. I'm done winning stupid prizes. And personally, I think my members deserve more than what they're getting. And this isn't to say that the rest of my tribe that subscribed, that, that you don't mean something to me, because you do. But if you really appreciated what I did for you, you'd at least help me out. If you really appreciated the message, there would be an equal reciprocation. Welcome in, Empress. I've given more than enough chances. I've given of myself so much, and I get very little back. I get breadcrumbed. And why do I do it? And it's not about doing things for free. It's not about, it's not about that. It's about an equal energy exchange. And it's about respecting myself and my energy. It's about protecting my energy. And if I don't respect myself, how do I expect anyone else to respect me? And considering I'm shadow banned, I might as well focus on my members. Because they are the ones that are keeping me afloat. The ones that are supporting me, I should be supporting them. If you're just coming in for a free message, I've got a lot of karmic readers watching me and then taking my messages and using it for themselves and monetizing on it. No more. They want to monetize off of my messages, they can pay for it. So if you want a personal reading, they're there. They're available. I have many different ones to choose from. I lived my life doing things out of the kindness of my heart and not expecting anything back in return, and it didn't get me anything but depleted. And I'm done. I'm done being breadcrumbed. I'm done being taken advantage of. I've got bills just like everybody else. And the prices for my readings are a heck of a lot less than most of the people out there that giving readings. Great Spirit, guides, guards, protectors, angels, ancestors, divine light. Please be here to provide a message for the collective, only of the highest good, to bring us into the highest timeline, to keep us 10 steps ahead of the chaos. Any ill will sent my way, let it be sent back to sender, unapologetically, indefinitely, and let it be bound to them, indefinitely, until they learn perfect love and perfect trust within their heart. Let any bindings to my energy be broken. Let any cords that need to be cut that no longer serve me, as I call my power back to me from anywhere, anyone, anything, any realm that chooses to siphon off of my abundance, my prosperity, my strength, my healing, my clarity. Let the cords be severed indefinitely, no longer having consent to tap into my energy. As above, so below, as within, so without, and so it is. May you get what you deserve. Whether that's a blessing or a curse, it's up to you and your intention. Spirit, right off the top, what is the message for my collective this evening? Okay. Right off the bat, we have the Hierophant in the reverse. This is a disconnection from a higher power. And we also have Apocalyptus. And it's on its side. And the Hierophant is in the reverse. So what I'm picking up on this is a eradication of the false light. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse, and we have the prayer. And what this represents to me is the helplessness and the need to connect back with the divine light that we have within us. We also have the Devil, and we also have the One. And this is representing the false light because the One is in the reverse. I'm really being brought back to the fact that the devil has reign on the earth. And because of that, has brought us about that false light. And what this is telling me is the devil is losing his... Let's just say the devil is being demoted. The devil's reign on earth is nigh. Because there is a great stabilization happening on earth right now. And that brings me to the Queen of Pentacles. It's about nurturing our stability. We also have the King. And that's telling me to what is being guarded. The King is what guards what is sacred. And the nurturing of that between the masculine and feminine energy. We also have the Five of Cups in the reverse and the River. And what this represents to me is not allowing the emotions to overtake us. Not allowing, and I'm picking up on reactive abuse with this card. So not allowing our emotions to make us act out of character. With the Five of Cups in the reverse, it's kind of speaking on learning how to love again. Learning how to love oneself again. Learning self-worth. Instead of not going with the flow, we're going with the flow in a sense of finding our way down the river, finding our way through the emotions, finding our way to empower ourselves and to learn how to love again, learn how to nurture, learn how to be compassionate. We have the Five of Wands. And I'm really picking up a chosen one kind of energy with this, specifically with the Mystic. This is about recognizing who we are and fighting for what we believe in. This is the great awakening. This is the great remembering of our true essence and power within each and every single one of us. and stepping into the mystical aspect and the magic and the divine within us, and recognizing that divinity within each and every single one of us, to see through the veil, to recognize and embrace the truth. We have the Four of Wands. And we also have the Kiss. This is about making a commitment to love. Making a commitment to not only loving ourselves, but to love others and be compassionate. To create a bridge. To join together in solidarity and stability. And to celebrate our differences as much as what we have in common within humanity. Brings me to the Five of Swords. There's a great fight, and there's a great ego, there's a great discrepancy. This is also kind of giving me, don't judge a book by its cover. And to fight for what's right. And to recognize the divinity that's within us. We have the Ten of Wands in the reverse. And the Judge. This is about recognizing what is ours as far as our burdens, and putting down what is not our burden, such as distraction, such as disempowerment. What might look like we are opening up old wounds, it is only to create an understanding and cast a judgment on what no longer serves us, due to the deception, due to the lies. And recognizing the truth for what it is, and stepping forward and fighting for what is right. We have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Thread. What I'm picking up on with this is recognizing the similarities in absolutely every single one of us, knowing that just as much as we are an individual being on a singular basis, as a whole, overall humanity, there is a thread that binds us all together. There is a commonality. And I do believe that we will recognize that commonality. And once we start to do that, things are going to be moving in a different way. Things are going to speed up. And things are going to be moving in a way of understanding that we are all connected. Despite our nationality, despite what we look like, despite what we've been through. We got the Princess of Cups in the reverse, and the Hunter. What I'm picking up on with this is no longer being apologetic to the bitterness. People know what they do. And it's kind of giving no mercy. A hunter, they know what they're hunting. A hunter knows what their job is. And a hunter is usually one that plans. They plan to be prepared. They plan to aim their gun at a particular, or an arrow at a particular situation. And it's not like they're shooting their gun with their eyes closed. The hunter is very methodical. The whole idea of the hunter is to go out to find food and to bring food back. But there has to be almost a coldness to that. Because without the hunter, we do not eat. Without the methodicity or methodical way of the hunter, we do not find sustenance. The Eight of Swords and the ocean. What I'm picking up on this is being trapped by your emotions and by the depth of your subconscious. Although being trapped by our subconscious is an illusion. It's an illusion that we place on ourselves. We have the ability to remove this illusion. We have the ability to remove ourselves from this entrapment. However, it requires us to go within, to the deep crevices of our subconscious and our consciousness, in order to find our way out. We have the Three of Wands and the offering. What I'm picking up on with this is having the patience, being consistent, doing the work, having the collaborations for all these brand new ideas, but falling short. Due to the illusions. Being told one thing and holding out and being patient for that particularly one thing to materialize, only to find that it does not materialize. So what are we being patient for? What are we holding out for? What might we be missing out on that is important to us? I'm also picking up, we need to remember. Because within the great remember is the purpose for why we're here in the first place. So what are we actually waiting for? We have the Seven of Pentacles. And we also have the Mirror. It's about tending to the garden. It's about focusing on what's important, planting the seeds, doing the work, tending to the garden. But it's to recognize that we are the garden. What we feed ourselves is what becomes us. And sometimes we need to look in the mirror to recognize what we've become and be honest with ourselves. What type of seeds are we planting? What are we tending to? What are we focusing our energy on? And how does that make or break us? What does that help us to recognize? How does that help us learn? And where is that bringing us? Where are we going with that? And the things that we are tending to, is it a reflection of ourself? Or is it out of basic necessities? Is it out of desperation? To become something maybe that we're not. Confused by the distraction of the status quo in the matrix. By looking in the mirror, we recognize. We see it for what it is, as a reflection of ourself. So what are we actually tending to? What are we putting our energy into, and how does it serve us? And if it doesn't serve us, how does that reflect on our authenticity? We have the Two of Cups in the reverse. And we also have the womb. This comes into a karmic energy, pouring into that what no longer serves us. The womb is where life is created, where it germinates, where it builds, where it grows, where it becomes. This is also kind of giving me a feeling of no longer putting energy into karmic relationships, no longer wasting our time with things that are no longer serving us. With the Lightworker's Oracle, we have third ray of creative intelligence, the paradigm shift, and Star Child. So the third ray of creative intelligence, I could see this as the past. The card 2 is created as the present, and the card 3, which is Star Child, is the future. The third ray of creative intelligence brings the gift of practical spirituality and develops the talent for grounding inspired creativity into the world. It empowers your manifestation This ray brings many gifts, including new ideas and the practical support needed to bring them to life. The ability to organize and make connections and networks and synthesize information from various sources into one coherent whole. Archangel Chamuel helps you receive this gift from the universe with love and intelligence. The third ray of creative intelligence will help you gain practicality to organize and manifest an idea or vision in the world. It gives you the drive and the means to implement your plans. When this ray is active in our lives, we want to take action, bring something to life. Not just to know or feel, but to do. With this oracle comes a message about taking action and believing that even the most inspired and spiritual ideas can have practical purpose in the world. Your visions and ideas can and should be worked with so they can manifest. You must believe in your capability and competence, your confidence and practical down-to-earth common sense, even if these are not always your strongest qualities. If you doubt your ability to achieve all that you dream of, remember that sometimes the universe puts dreams in our heart to help us develop strengths that are dormant within us. This can bring to life a whole slew of abilities and talents we didn't know we had. We are given nudges in life to discover what we are made of, which can be so much more than we might have initially believed. The challenge with this ray is to take one step at a time. Allow the universe to help you find the patience, the persistence, and sense of humor that will help you to stick to the process of creation. Do not try to do too much at once, nor allow your project to get too complicated. Above all, do not give up before you have finally brought your inner light to life in the world. Archangel Chamuel brings the gift of reclaiming lost energy, ideas or talents that can help you fulfill your divine potential. This archangel helps you to reawaken talents from this or other lifetimes that may have been cast aside. Perhaps your intuitive healing energy was put to one side as you studied or tended to family responsibilities. Perhaps your business sense or your ability to market yourself in a soulful and loving way is yet to be discovered. Maybe an ability to teach or to clear or the clear, confident voice of a writer is within you, waiting to be developed. This archangel will help you find and apply with loving confidence whatever talents and abilities are required to turn your aspirations into manifestations. As this ray has a special connection with business, you are asked to remain open to learning and growing through financial success. This ray can help heal the tension that many feel between spirituality and financial abundance. It helps us recognize that the spirit feels joy in successful physical world endeavors, particularly those that serve love. When a situation is a win-win for all involved, there's no reason at all to hold back from material success. It can be celebrated and enjoyed, while you maintain the true motivation for the work, which is love. For those looking for an invocation, I now accept my own free will, the blessings and grace of the third ray of creative intelligence. I thank the universe for all assistance in turning my spiritual aspirations into successful, practical, real-world manifestations of light, grace, love, and empowerment. I gratefully receive the unconditionally loving intervention of Archangel Chamuel to recover and express all talents and abilities meant to help me fulfill my mission. So thank you, universe, for helping me to manifest my divine purpose and divine dreams. I ask that in unconditional love, this ray be made available to all who can benefit from it, according to divine wisdom, mercy, and compassion for the greatest good. So let it be. And we have paradigm shift. You are undergoing radical growth in your belief systems. Now is the time to change old attitudes and question previous expectations. You are in an extraordinary time. Great leaps forward can be made in a moment. The world you thought you knew can suddenly break open, and a new world can become your reality. Buddhists sometimes speak of the beginner's mind, that which assumes nothing and therefore is open to everything. A spiritual psychologist might call this the inner child, as it is innocent, curious, unfixed, and always learning. It doesn't get stuck on an answer having to be one way. There's openness to the unknown with curiosity instead. Old souls can sometimes find it hard to recapture their not knowingness. Asking someone with a lot of life experience who may have become a bit world weary to drop expectations and look at the world through fresh eyes can be challenging. Yet life becomes much more energizing and interesting when you are open and don't hold expectations about what will be. Suddenly, you are receptive to the universe, helping you in ways that in the past you did not believe possible. All because you kept an open mind. If you're feeling that you don't really know yourself, your relationships, or your place in the world, as you once did, if you're feeling that what you once held to be certain now seems to be a little shaky, these are signs that you are going through a paradigm shift. This will bring you new perceptions that will free you to be in the world in new ways. You will find yourself shedding old limits, fears, and misconceptions. You're stepping beyond what you have known. It's a bit like a traveler in a new city feeling awkward until they get the lay of the land and how things operate in that new place. As you trust the unexpected and unknown, the universe will be able to help you in unexpected and previously unknown ways. If you find yourself questioning the views in mass media or spoken in the conversation that those around you are having, take heart and know that you are awakening from a fear-based world into a love-filled reality. Your confusion will soon transform into joy at discovering that you are free and have no reason to be afraid. You are encouraged by the universe to embrace the power that you have to be a free thinker. Accept the accelerated mental shift happening for you. Even if it creates temporary uncertainty or discomfort, dare to think thoughts of love rather than lower your vibration by choosing thoughts of fear. Trust for something helpful and empowering is happening in your soul. For those that are looking for an invocation, through divine grace and unconditional love, I open my mind to the higher truth of love. May my mind be cleansed from conditioning and gently opened to the light of love. I'm willing to unlearn what no longer serves me. I'm willing to receive teachings and information guidance and assistance from those beings of pure light and unconditional love that can assist me on my life journey now. May my paradigm shift bring me closer to peace, love, empowerment, and happiness. May this process be held in guardianship by the universe, with grace, mercy, and tenderness, through my own free will, so let it be. Welcome in, Car. Welcome in, Kathy. Sarah. The last card is the Star Child. The light of the stars exists in you. The earth wants you to share that light with humanity. You are asked to understand that you are meant to be here, that you have spiritual work to accomplish. Give up the idea that you belong somewhere else, to another home in the stars. Instead, let the starlight of your inner being shine here on earth, where it shall make such a positive difference in the world. Fall in love with Earth's beauty. She can and will support you in all ways. Have you been dreaming of other places you would prefer to be? Are you wondering if there's more to life on the planet than suffering and struggle? Perhaps you know that you have a mission, yet you doubt that you can succeed. Perhaps you love your life here, but yearn to experience the spiritual purity that exists in the higher vibrational fields of the stars. You may feel like a tourist in need of a fix of your home language to endure adapting to a very different world. Grounding yourself here on earth enables you to fulfill your life mission. You cannot accomplish this without feeling that you belong here. Your feet need to be planted on the earth. Relax and trust that you are meant to be here. You have a special light to share and a particular spiritual vibration to live, so that the quantum of embodied spiritual light on the earth increases. You are part of an important team of spiritual beings working to assist humanity to grow spiritually. The challenge for a star-seeded soul is to accept human beings as they are, without despairing over their darker side. The violence may frighten you, but your love will help humanity learn to use that violence to dismantle old structures and create new ways of being. It can be channeled to energize humanity with a can-do attitude towards creating a more loving and functional world. Remember, you came to this planet to learn and to help heal others. You agreed to take this journey because you can assist both the earth and humanity to ultimately evolve their frequency. It is possible, and you are helping make it so. There are 3 truths that will help you to embrace your journey on this planet. Firstly, you carry the purity of your star ancestry in your heart. You can return through meditation or relaxation at any time. You often return to your star-born home during sleep. The loved ones from that place are very aware of your journey here and are helping every step of the way. They send you frequencies from home like divine care packages which fuel you for your earthly tasks. Secondly, you are so filled with love that you are capable of loving all on this planet. You have compassion even for those who are very wounded and fearful, and at times act out in ways of violence, cruelty, and ignorance. Now the human capacity for courage, compassion, and light is increasing, and your work as part of the team of light love beings is already having an effect. Thirdly, As a star-seated being, you have special resources for your journey here on Earth. Your every spiritual request and need will be met by a loving team of helpers. You get to have a lot of fun in your healing mission if you so choose. It doesn't only have to be all hard work, though. Of course, sometimes it will be. Just remember that the stars shine with joy in the sky, and you can shine as a star with joy upon the earth. This is your nature, and this is how you can best fulfill your life mission. For those looking for an invocation, I call upon the star wisdom of my own spirit, and I ask that my love, light, power, presence, protection, and assistance shine forth for the highest good. May I shine divine beauty and joy in my life, now and always. I feel a deep and true connection to my spirit, to the earth, and to the universe. And may love flow through me according to its own intelligence and healing wisdom, to all beings upon the earth, through divine grace and my own free will, so let it be. That will ultimately conclude the reading, collective. I wish you nothing but love and light, prosperity, abundance, healing, and courage. To stand and remember your light and to shine as bright as you can. And may we shine together to bring about the new earth in such a brighter way than what they have anticipated. We are here in this time and place to observe and to witness this paradigm shift, the third ray of creative intelligence, and to recognize our star lineage within us. Remember who you are and allow that to empower you. Together we will rise, and together we will prevail, individually as well as nations, upon Mother Earth. Promo fan, if you'd like a personal reading, the links are in the bio. Check out the description box for more information. Thank you for joining me tonight, collective. Please become a member, join in, so that way you can catch the next live. To my members, pay attention to the notifications, because there's going to be a members live tomorrow night for Monday night. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. If you'd like a reading, they are open. And just because I'm focusing on my members' side, I may do collective readings maybe 3 times a week. I don't know, maybe 2 times a week, depending. One for the week and one for the weekend. But I will be doing a members live every other night, probably. So if you would like to have a nightly collective, you might want to become a member. But the overall nightly public collective, I'm still at a toss-up as to whether that will happen or what. I'm not sure. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, collective. If you can't be good at it, at least be good to yourself, so that way you can be good to others. And maybe I'll catch you in the next one.